Hey there everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to Agrarian Skies, the Labors of Valentine. We worked on the bees today. I also did a little decorating. We now have a crafting terminal in our bee house. I've moved the bees over to here, and I've actually modified the queen. I changed her to be a fast worker, to like flowers, and to not poison me. I think I also made her area larger. So, yeah, that's going to be much nicer. I did put a jungle tree here. Because it was just so flat of an expanse. And originally I hadn't planned to change her to flowers. But then I went, hey, while I'm making her non-poisonous, let's make her have flowers. So I'm going to set up other apiaries along here, other industrial apiaries. So I think we're good. We are now running off of Bob the Reactor, which is lovely, and I will show you there what I will be doing, or not what I'll be doing, what I have done, and of course what I will be doing is changing it over to turbines. But that's not today. However, I just thought I'd show you the gene sample. This is what I used to alter our queen. So her fertility was 2, it's now 3. So that was the other effect added on there. I would have made other changes, but we didn't have the gene samples from them yet. At some point I am going to take these out and put them over there, but right now we are still processing bees. Aren't we? Oh, you don't know what an attuned drone is. Oh, we're out of labware. Dope. I have to look and see if there's a way that I can feed these in. It might be a particular side they have to come in, because just throwing them in here doesn't work, unfortunately. So let's just throw that in there, and now it starts working again. I am going to rearrange these slightly so that they're a little more reasonable. I'll probably move these two, the protein liquefier and the DNA extractor, up here to feed in. That'll free up a little room along this wall, and I can make it a little more user-friendly. We did a little bit of lighting of the ground, as you can see, because there's no torches. We have concealed lighting. And that's enough for the moment. Oh, actually, Blizz! I forgot to say that yesterday, when we turned in the quest, which quest was it? I can't remember. Hang on. We got a Blizz egg, anyway, as a reward. And you always get that particular reward. Was it this one? I think it was this one. When we did Colder Than we got a Blizz. And so, of course, I promptly put them in there and started auto-spawning them. So we have a nice supply of Blizz rods, which I actually used to make the cryoethium. So we did it the hard way the first time around, and now we can actually create our Blizz powder, which we need for the cyrethium much easier. And that's how I did all the cyrethium from in here. It was much then making sandstone and crushing it to get niter, and then using the niter. All right, so here is the reactor. It is working. As I said in the annotation that I put on my last video, in which I was complaining bitterly about the fact that I didn't know why it wasn't giving me energy. Well, I know why. There are ports that I had inset on here called reactor coolant ports. You do not want to put those in your passive reactor, because it changes it from a passive reactor, passively cooled reactor, to an actively cooled reactor, which means that it no longer produces energy. It's the turbines that do. But you do have to run a passively cooled reactor, which is what this is, with, remember, do not have coolant ports in here, or it will change it to active. But the passive one is the one that produces energy on its own. It's using almost all of it. It's possible for it to produce. It produces 12.7 when it is going at full tilt. It's not going at full tilt because of a fantastic little device that I got from Purple Mentat. Purple Mentat has Agrarian Skies series on YouTube, and on one of his videos he explains how to make your reactor automatically shut itself down when you don't need the energy, and to ramp up as you demand energy from the system. And I'm just going to quickly show you that. You need a reactor RedNet port inset into the wall. You need to take the output energy amount and drag it over here to the white. You could choose any color, but he used white and black, so I just did the same thing as he did. Then you take the input, let's just, there. Input change control rod insertion and drag it and put it down here, and then you hit commit. And because both these signals are coming from above, when you go in here at your programmable RedNet controller, you only have to do one command. You select maximum 2 input from the list. You change IO to up. I think the default is white, but make sure it's white or whatever color it is that you're choosing. And then on this side, you do the same thing, IO up, and you change it to black. So when this, basically the strength of this signal, which is coming from the battery, or how much energy is being used rather, is the strength of the signal. That's how much signal the black channel is going to get, and that's what tells it how much to ramp it up or down. And it works lovely. Like I said, it can do a max of 12.7, but it's not using 12.7 because we don't need 12.7 right now, which is wonderful. Now, if we get to the point that we are maxing out on our reactor here, that's when I will look at making the turbines. Using efficient turbines with an actively cooled reactor, this particular setup can get 18.6 kilo RF with the same amount of, from the same amount of fuel. So you can see that that's, what, about 33% more efficient. We don't need it yet, but when we do, it'll be very nice. Now, I wanted to mention a little quirk that I ran into. I don't know if it's just 2.1.9 Agrarian Skies that has this issue, or if it exists in other versions with big reactors, so I thought I'd mention it in case you ran into it. I originally had this as the input port and this as the output port. Unfortunately, for some reason, it kept insisting on putting the cyanite in this one, even though at that point it was the input port. So I thought, well, maybe it has to do with the position of it on the reactor. So I swapped them. I changed this to be the output port and that the input. And now it's working. So now the yellorium is going in on this side, which it was doing here. It was going in fine, but it wouldn't come out here. But now it's, like I said, by swapping them, it's now working. This is now the output, and it is in fact sending them out, which means it's fully automated now. I don't have to worry about coming over here and manually clearing this box every so often. Because once that gets full, if you don't clear it, what's going to happen is the cyanite's going to build up in here and reduce the efficiency of your reactor, well, until it gets full, and then the reactor will be useless because it's full and you have to empty it manually. But you want it automatic. I want it automatic. Automatically eject it. Over here, this pulls it in, it goes into our AE system, where we can use it to build our turbines, eventually. Awesome. I'm so glad it's working. Now, I also wanted to mention that this overall design of this actively cooled reactor, which I've modified to be a passive currently, but the original design came from a person named MM75 on the Technic forums. The URL was too long to put there, but if you searched for Technic forums, I'm sure you could find it on Google. As I mentioned, the auto control is courtesy of Purple Mentant, and the person who he helped me some with his when I watched his Agrarian Skies episode, but the person that I got the most information from was from a tutorial on a YouTube channel called The Minecrafters. It was an awesome tutorial. It explained the differences between the passively cooled and the actively cooled reactors, and also explained how to make sure that your turbines are set up optimally, which I won't talk about today because, well, we don't have any turbines, but I'm so happy. So happy I sorted it out. I was kind of bummed out that I hadn't figured it out at the time that I did my tour for yesterday, but we're good. Right. So, enough of that reactor nonsense. I guess I should pop by to the drill in the sky, since I'm over here. It is now running at full tilt, which is fabulous. We have all 4 pre-chargers installed, as you can tell from the additional power lines. So it's now at 100% speed, and it's pulling as much energy as it needs, so it can't get any faster. And look at that work go. That is awesome. And we are now sending this into the Tesseract, which is going into our AE system. I don't suppose we could see something flash by here. No, of course not. Anyway, it is working, trust me. Oh, let's not kill ourselves. Not yet, anyway. We shall only do it as a noble sacrifice, or an accident. Right, I wanted to check on how our dirt is doing and our cobble, because I haven't done that for the last few tours. So we'll just pop in and take a look at that. The dirt, we'll check over here, because it's handier. We're getting there. 547K. We have about 100,000 left. But we're getting there. It'll be so nice to turn off the dirt production system, because it is a large factor in the current lag spikes. Every time there's a lag spike, basically that's when a whole bunch of the barrels are getting emptied or filled. Emptied of dirt and filled with leaves. And of course this is causing a lot of lag too. I'm going to have to look over what we're getting from this and decide if I can just, well, turn it off for now, because that'll get rid of a lot of lag too. But we've got a lot of resources. I'm still hoping that at some point I'll be able to update that my dog slow AE system will be fixed by some future update, because I haven't been able to figure out why when I try update the AE system becomes unusable because it's so slow. It's a mystery. Oh, look at that. We almost have 4 out of the 9 pieces of septuple compressed cobblestone that we need to make our octuple. So it's getting there. Slowly but surely we are getting there. And by the way, I did do some messing about with my tank here. I still can't get it to work. I double checked things, took out ducts, put them back in. There's nothing I could do to get it to work, so I ended up just basically taking the steel right from here and just sending it straight over to the smeltery to be turned into blocks. Oh, what have we got here? Let me just put that back in. Probably got full of iron. Oh, good heavens. Okay, well, we will fix that. We would like to do iron. Oh, you can't. Ew. Oh well, it's not that much iron. Or that's not that much steel that I'm losing, so let's just do this. Fix it. Oh. I guess that was a visual glitch. Anyway, so we do have more steel here, which we're going to need when we're building our turbines. Alright. Those iron ingot or blocks were created accidentally when I was making steel because I ran out of it. Stopped putting sand into the high oven for some reason, unbeknownst to me. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour. Hopefully I didn't, well, I hope I wasn't too incoherent when I was explaining the reactor. Anyway, you all have a good night, and I will see you later. Bye!